So we have a Holy Year because it is the prerogative of the Pope to call a Holy Year. And Pope Francis announced this Holy Year, and he invited the dicastery for evangelization to be responsible for it. And that's led up by Archbishop Rino Fisichella. Both Archbishop Leo and I know Rino quite well because he was a lecturer when we were at the Gregorian in Rome. His first year of lecturing, we were seminarians there, and he's gone on to be rector of the Lateran University and now in charge of the dicastery for the new evangelization. And he's ably helped by a Scottish priest called Graham Bell. So their resources are all mentioned on the handout at that web address, and they're all available in English. So there is information about the background to what a Holy Year is. There is a history from 1300 up to the present day. And there is the song, the hymn that they've written, there's the logo, there's prayers, there's resources. The Roman authorities are expecting 25 million pilgrims, and they're pedestrianising from St. Peter's Basilica to Castel Sant'Angelo. And in order to do that, they have to take all the Roman traffic off the road that used to go along the Tiber River. So they hope by the 24th of December to have that project finished, to have all that traffic going underground and pedestrianised. If you want to go as a pilgrim to Rome during the Holy Year, you must register on the site and you must have a pilgrim card. You won't be able to get into any of the basilicas or any of the other things associated with the Holy Year unless you're registered and you have that card. And obviously they have to manage the 25 million people somehow. So the first thing you'll see on the sheet is the logo. And I just wrote a little descriptor of what the logo is about. Just take a moment and read it. So if you're involved in your sacristy or your parish, you might see already that the Ordo for 2025 has that logo on it, and it will continue to appear, I'm sure, on a variety of different publications to remind us that we are on a pilgrimage of hope. We're invited. So what is a Holy Year? A Holy Year is an opportunity to intensify prayer as a personal encounter with God. And at the core of a Jubilee pilgrimage is forgiveness and reconciliation. So when Holy Years started originally, they were kind of once every 50 years. And then they became kind of once every 25 years. And it's a bit like an Olympics or a World Cup, which are for athletes and footballers to focus. A Holy Year is for the universal church to focus, to take time to examine our relationship with God, to pray for forgiveness and reconciliation. Obviously, I've been involved in the church the kind of last 40 years, and we've had 4 Holy Years. So I think they're more often than every 25 years. There was the Year of the Redemption in 1983. I was fortunate to be living in Rome that year when Pope John Paul II opened that Holy Year. And I went to a marvelous celebration in the Stadio Olimpico, the stadium at Flaminio, for the youth of the world. That was a very uplifting experience. And I was also in St. Peter's Basilica on the 22nd of February in 1983, the Feast of St. Peter's Chair, which was when religious priests, seminarians gathered to celebrate that particular Holy Year. Some of you may have been at the Jubilee year in 2000. 2000 was when I took my first parish group to Rome, and that's a challenge to anybody. You may remember in 2015, we had the Year of Mercy, and now in 2025, we're going to have the Year of Hope. So what preparations have been going on? The Holy Father has suggested various different things, and one of the things that he suggested for the Universal Church was that we would reread and re-examine the 5 constitutions of the Church that come from the Second Vatican Council. So if you're an avid Archdiocesan Facebook reader, you will see that there were 5 talks posted there. They're from Father Tom McGill, who is a priest of the Diocese of Motherwell and an adult educator. And he did little clips on each of the constitutions to be used in parishes to have some discussion. The other thing that Pope Francis suggested was that we have a year of prayer. And again, some parishes may have already done that. In my own parish, we did that in Eastertide. We reflected on prayer, and as you did with Father Andrew this morning, we also had a weekend to reflect on the Our Father. And some of you may have seen the Ignatian Centre in Glasgow have produced a little booklet on different forms of prayer. Again, we put that at the back of the church, and it must be popular because they all disappeared, you know. So there are things that have been happening in the background. The actual Jubilee year starts on the 24th of December, and the Holy Father will open the Holy Door in St. Peter's. There are only going to be 5 holy doors this time, the 4 major basilicas in Rome and the prison in Rome. If you were involved in the Year of Mercy, we had holy doors in cathedrals and significant churches for people who weren't able to go to Rome. But for this time round, for some reason, they've decided not to do that. So that was a wee bit about what is a holy year, what are the preparations, and what are the celebrations. And really the celebrations are on the back of the handout. That's the official programme. So if, for example, you're involved as a volunteer in the parish, then in March 2025, there's a Jubilee of the World of Volunteering. So that might be an opportunity for you to gather in your own parish and celebrate that. There are lots of other jubilees for bishops, for priests, for prisoners, for the consecrated life, for catechists, for youth. All these different organizations are invited to go to Rome and to celebrate. If you're not able to go to Rome, you're able to do that in your own parish. Also, one of the things that the Pope has asked for on the Feast of the Holy Family is that in the cathedrals in the world, there might be the revealing of a cross, and Archbishop Leo will do that in the cathedral on the Feast of the Holy Family. That cross has been made, and parishes will be encouraged to go in pilgrimage to the cathedral. It will be in the St. Andrew's shrine area, and there will be the opportunity to gather to pray, and if you've got time, to go to the cafe and have lunch as well, you know. And there'll be various other things. Because I live here in Edinburgh, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to meet in our parish church, and we're going to walk from there to the cathedral, have our little liturgy in the cathedral, and then have some social time together. Other places, obviously, are places like Carfin, Canool, Nunraw, the different spiritual places that we have in Scotland. It's an opportunity to gather people together. Also, there are things for younger children. They've come up with this logo. This pilgrim is called Luce, which means light in Italian, and it's an opportunity to speak to younger children. So if you're involved in primary school, children's liturgy, little church, whatever, and this pilgrim is not on their own, they've got friends. So it's just another way of trying to spread the gospel, to invite people to reflect on what does it mean to be a pilgrim of hope. There are also 3 new Mass texts. I've seen them called Formula A, Formula B, and Formula C. I don't know if they're going to have a more spiritual nuance to them, but they're prayers that can be used if, as a parish community, you're celebrating a Mass for the Jubilee year, and the Archbishop is going to get little prayer cards made for those who come to the cathedral, so that they'll be able to use some of the prayers from those Masses. And he's also going to send them out to primary schools to encourage primary schools to come to the cathedral and to take part in the various different aspects of pilgrimage.